Stay tuned to Monitor, Book 46, where the new Waterman CF cartridge-filled fountain pen brings you Bob and Ray through the day.
Now, for the many fans who wait for her on the radio, we present once again the interesting story, The Life and Loves of Linda Lovelace, Girl Intern. Written for radio by Ole Olehi, it stars Marcia Van Alshot as Linda, Sherman L. Sturdley as David, with Hugo L. Summerstopper as Uncle Eugene, and Webley L. Webster as Ricky L. Llewellyn. Yesterday, we left Ricky and Uncle Eugene as they fought desperately to free themselves after being tied up in Fielding's hideout with the shack on fire. And it's a moment later now.
Well, that little fire over in the corner is beginning to bother me a little bit, Uncle Eugene.
Well, I got my arms free. Now, what would I do next?
Well, if your arms are free, you could help me undo my left wrist. It's tied to one of the rungs of the chair.
Let me see if I can undo it there. Smoke is getting heavier. I think the fire engines should be here soon. Everybody in River's Mouth knows when there's a fire.
Yeah.
There, your arms are untied.
That three-alarm fire down at the docks had them all tangled up.
Hey, look over there. See where the fire's burned through part of the wall?
Hey, that's right.
Isn't that a pile of money hidden in there?
It sure looks like it.
Must be Fielding's loot. Come on, let's get it. Boy, Dave will be happy to see this.
Boy, look at all that
stuff
money.
in your pockets there as quick as you can. This fire isn't so bad after all. I think it's going out.
I think it is, too.
First, the hose truck.
How much money do you think is here?
Oh, let's see. Well, there's several thousands here, I guess.
Boy, oh boy, this will put Dave on easy street.
There comes the hook and ladder. I just heard somebody.
Well, we won't need it. The thing isn't on fire anymore.
Hook and ladder, it's only a little shack.
It isn't worth anything.
What are they bringing a hook and ladder out here for?
Turn at 17th and River, Bill.
I didn't know we had this many pieces of equipment in River's Mouth.
Well, they probably had to send to the neighboring communities for aid.
Maybe the county seat.
Look, the fire's all out.
Yeah, well, let's get out of here and take the money back to Dave. So Uncle Eugene and Ricky escape, finding Fielding's loot hidden in the shack. What will happen when they turn it over to David? Be sure and listen tomorrow, and we'll hear Linda say,
I think there's another fire down on the docks.
That's in the next exciting episode in The Life and Loves of Linda Lovelace, Girl Intern. Word Carr speaking.
Well, I know that our listeners will all, I'm sure, sympathize with you, Mr. Neblett.
Actually, I prefer to go by the name of Ludlow Neblett.
Neblett.
Takes a slight whistle to say Nesbit, and of course I can't whistle.
Well, I knew, of course, that there were some people in our society who couldn't whistle, but until I read about your convention, I never realized that you folks were organized into a group.
Well, actually, there are two non-whistling organizations in this country. There's the National Society of People Who Can't Whistle, and there's the American Association of People Who Can Whistle but won't.
And the other group just disapproves of whistling, I guess.
That's right. They lobby for legislation to have whistling outlawed in various states. They've tried to have the song Whistle While You Work banned from radio and television. And they have even attempted to have the title of the picture Whistler's Mother changed to something less shocking.
Mm-hmm. Well, that group sounds like a bunch of blue noses to me, pal.
Yes. Our Society of People Who Can't Whistle is really much more liberal. We just try to help our members learn to live with their affliction.
Well, do you have any idea what causes the inability to whistle, Mr. Neblett?
Purely psychological in some cases. Other members of our group can't whistle because it tends to make their false teeth slip. In my own case, the roof of my mouth is very low, and there just isn't enough space in there to work up a whistle.
Well, I know that our listeners will all, I'm sure, sympathize with you, Mr. Neville.
Actually, I'm not looking for sympathy. I've learned to get along this way. I hum on occasions that would normally call for a whistle. For example, I could demonstrate right here how I hum when a pretty girl passes by.
Okay, well, go right ahead. I think that would be very interesting.
All right. Listen carefully now. Hmm.
And does that get the desired result, sir?
Ordinarily, no. Most girls just think I'm clearing my throat. And as a result, I'm still a bachelor. But I believe very firmly in the Society's motto, keep humming.
Well, all I can say is you're a brave man, Mr. Nublett.
Thank you. It hasn't been easy for me. But then, nothing that's really worthwhile in life ever is.
That's very true. Incidentally, I noticed that there's a group of people out in the hall with strained expressions on their faces who seem to recognize you.
Yes, those are fellow conventioneers. They've just strained expressions because they're humming for me to hurry up and join them.
Oh, well, I didn't hear anything. I just happened to see them.
No, you can't hear a hum more than about 8 to 10 feet away. But you can tell by looking at the cords in their necks that they're humming.
Yes, you can. Well, we certainly want to thank you and your friends for coming by. So we'll just say thanks for dropping by to visit with us, and goodbye, sir.
For her on the radio, we present once again the interesting story, The Life and Loves of Linda Lovelace, Girl Intern. Written for radio by Ole Oleahy, it stars Marcia Van Alshot as Linda, Sherman L. Sturdley as David, with Hugo L. Summerstopper as Uncle Eugene, and Webley L. Webster as Ricky L. Llewellyn. 6 months can make a lot of changes in anyone's life. And it's also true in the lives of our friends in River's Mouth. Today, it's 6 months after yesterday's episode, and in River's Mouth Hospital, Linda is coming down the main corridor as we head.
David,
Yes, my dear.
he'll see you now.
I feel somehow much braver knowing that you, working here at the hospital as you are, will be here through the whole thing.
Well, of course I will. But we must think now of poor Nelson.
Well, he's in this room. Let's go in.
Oh, hello there.
Hello, Nelson. We've come to wish you luck and
Gee,
to say that we'll stand by throughout the long night hours.
think that you'd do that. And the way I've caused you so much trouble these past 6
You've
months.
caused us no trouble, Nelson.
I have. I know I have.
It's true you did come into our lives rather unexpectedly, and that we'd never met each other before, but we've come
Here,
to have a
Nelson.
very strong regard for you.
Let me puff up your pillows.
Linda is a girl intern, you know, Nelson.
I know that.
She's been here at the hospital now.
He's asleep.
Oh, well, we'd better tiptoe out and not wake him. Have you talked to kindly Dr. John this morning?
Why don't
Tripped
you
over that.
watch where you're going, David?
Pull myself up. Have you talked to kindly Dr. John this morning?
Yes, I did. He's going away on a fishing trip.
But he's got to be here for the operation.
But he said Dr. Llewellyn knows everything about the case, and he's in complete charge in his absence.
Dr. Ricky L. Llewellyn?
Yes.
Our next-door neighbor?
Yes.
Ricky has come along fast here at the hospital. 6 months ago, he was nothing but an interested bystander.
That's
Now,
right, in boot trading, practically.
now a top brain surgeon in River's Mouth.
And the way the uncle has moved, too. Governor of the state.
So David and Linda wait for the operation on Nelson's brain. Be sure and join us tomorrow when we'll hear Linda say,
You can come in now, Dr. Llewellyn.
That's in the next exciting episode in the life and loves of Linda Lovelace, girl intern. Word Carter speaking.
It's book review time once again. It's Wilfred Barnstorm's great new novel, My Nephew's Land.
Hold it right there.
Well, if you'd be just good enough to wait out in the hall for
Perhaps
a few
you don't remember me. I'm Hergesheimer from the advertising agency.
Yes, I remember you, but we're on the air right
That's
now.
exactly why I'm here. The new ratings came out yesterday, and in the New York area, the radio beam from Idlewild and the dispatching transmitters of 3 of the biggest cab companies all have more listeners than you do.
Well, those things are seasonal. You know, we always pick up after Christmas, and the January white goods sales are
Can't
over.
take that chance, boy. The big thing in radio now is drama suspense. You fellas just haven't got it.
Well, I never noticed too much drama or suspense in the radio beam from Idlewild,
You're
sir.
doing a book review there. Now, that's not too bad. Just go on ahead with your script.
Well, I was going to say that this book was published by Smedley Brothers, that it sells for $3.95, and that it runs 287 degrees, or pages. Now, you've confused me.
Go ahead with it.
Well, the book opens in a middle-class suburban home just outside Flint, Michigan. The central figure, who is never identified by any name other than Ralph, is arriving home from his job on the early shift at one of the auto plants. Mr. Hergesheimer, this isn't a mystery story. If you want to use sound effects, I'd suggest some sort of soft background music.
Soft background music doesn't build ratings. Do you hear soft background music on the $64,000 question?
Well, no, but...
Any soft background music on the broadcast of the World Series, the Army-Navy game?
No, of course not, but...
Well, those are the programs with the ratings, boy. Now, get on with the book review.
Well, Ralph arrives home to find word awaiting him that he has inherited 12,000 acres of virgin grassland in Kenya Colony from his wealthy nephew, Sir Reginald Bodkins. Of course, Ralph is a city fellow born and bred, and the remainder of the book is the heartwarming and often humorous story of his adjustment to life in the wilds of Central Africa. It's a thoroughly charming book, and one that will... Mr. Hergesheimer, I can't even hear myself over this racket. What is all this?
Just a dramatic effect that's going to save you and that fat fella you work with. That's all it is. You have a sound effects record of wind howling around here someplace? I think I've left mine at the office.
Well, we did have one, but there was something by the Budapest String Quartet on the flip side, and Bob took it home.
Well, I'll bring mine over next week, and then we should have just about the effect we want. Boy, I can hardly wait to read about this in the trade press. Goodbye.
Goodbye, sir. Gee whiz.
Wait for her on the radio, we present once again the interesting story, The Life and Loves of Linda Lovelace, Girl Intern. Written for radio by Ole Olehi, it stars Marcia Van Alshot as Linda, Sherman L. Sturdley as David, with Hugo L. Summerstopper as Uncle Eugene, and Webley L. Webster as Ricky L. Llewellyn. With the assistance of Dr. Fred B. Stoll and his assistant Chandler, and Linda Lovelace, girl intern, is about to operate on Nelson, as David sits in the darkened amphitheater above with Uncle Eugene, watching as the operation begins.
All right, nurse. Anesthetic, Fred.
Right. It's cloudy skies outside, Dr. Llewellyn.
All right.
Sky is darkening up a great
Everything's
deal
going to be
there.
all right, Nelson. Don't you worry down here.
Can I do anything to help you, Dr. Llewellyn?
Not right now, thank you.
Yeah, about it. Well, what are you just standing there for, looking at the patient there?
Can't think what to do first.
Well, it's a brain operation you're going to perform, I understand there.
Yeah, trying to think how that goes. Let's think. Would somebody run down to my office and get that book?
Yeah, well, which one is it?
One with the pictures. Wait, come back. Back here.
Yeah?
It's a big, heavy book. Big one. It's
You say brain on it?
Yeah, it's in the bookcase in my office.
All right.
Nelson, you have to wait just a second. Or are you out yet?
He's out, Dr. Llewellyn.
All right. Well, it looks like a lightning storm, thunderstorm coming up.
Is this the book you want, Dr. Llewellyn?
Got the one.
Oh, it looks like some storm outside there.
Oh, that's a big, heavy book. All
Yeah.
right, let's see. Let's turn to the page and get the pictures so we can follow along.
Let's see. It'll be on the beam here. Oh, so.
The lights. The lights are out.
So there's a tense moment in the operating room of Riversmouth General Hospital as lightning strikes the power system. The lights go out. Sure, and join us tomorrow and we'll hear Dr. Llewellyn say,
We have to get some flashlights someplace.
that's in the next exciting episode in the life and loves of Linda Lovely, girl intern. Word Carr speaking.
Well, thank you.
That is a tense situation there.
Wally Ballou is in Upper New York State, talking with the good Professor Groggins. Come in, please, Wally Ballou.
In your hat, Professor Groggins, will it stay when you get off the ground?
Well, I haven't...
Why do you wear
thought-
that?
Well, I haven't thought about that, Mr. Ballou. It's just a regular, ordinary straw hat that I wear.
Wait a minute, I think we're on the radio now. This is radio's highly controversial Wally Ballou, speaking from the site of Professor Groggins' rocket ship and his expected trip to the moon. Your lunar rocket will take off within the next week, is that right, Professor?
My what?
Your lunar rocket? Lunar.
I don't call it that at
Your
all.
moon rocket.
The rocket that I expect to take me to the moon
Yes.
will take off Tuesday next.
Now, as many of you may remember, Professor Groggins had several unsuccessful starts in the past year. I remember the first one, you couldn't get the engines turned over. Second
Well-
time, you couldn't light the rockets because your matches were wet.
That's right.
Have you overcome all of those difficulties?
Well, yes, and then, of course, when I put linoleum down on the floor of the kitchen of the rocket, I found out that it wouldn't work very well. I've replaced that now with a sort of rubber tile.
You've also taken the front porch off the side of the rocket there. You don't intend to sit out there of an evening on your trip?
What I have done in place of that porch, Mr. Ballou, is I've put out a small patio where I can sit and watch the stars.
Oh, is that what that is?
That's right, and I used flagstone and some of that ready-mixed concrete. It works very well.
good. I've used that myself on the patio, and I redid the cellar one time.
Is that
Did
so?
that.
Yes.
Put that down, then I put down like a tile
I
floor.
got the combination storm window and screens on the windows, and I have baseboard heating.
What do you hear about the atmosphere on the moon? Will you need your screens up there to protect you from the insects?
I don't know. I've heard conflicting reports. Some people say it's cold as the dickens up at the moon. And I hear that it's pretty similar to our weather here.
I was speaking in the village this morning with one of the reporters who interviewed you just last week. He said that he had discovered you were taking a group of calypso records along to play on your portable phonograph.
Well, I have a phonograph here on my rocket, Mr. Ballou, and any records I bring along, of course, will be of my own choice, something that I enjoy. Then I hope also that it will, if I get to talk, and if the moon is inhabited by people, humans, then I can play music typical of our society here on the Earth.
You taking along any green cheese?
No.
Now, I understand you're going to take a trial spin here for our radio audience. Is that right?
That's right. Now, I wonder if you would stand back, Mr. Ballou.
About over here, be safe from the terrible flash flare of the rockets.
There won't be any flash flare. I have cut out the rockets because they're too dangerous, particularly if you don't know what you're doing. I've replaced them with 4 Power-More engines, turning and a 3/4 horse each.
Well, now you ladies and gentlemen of the radio audience are going to hear for the first time Professor Groggins' new lunar rocket. as he...
I don't call it that, and it only confuses me. It's not a lunar rocket. It's just a rocket that I'm using to go to the moon.
All right, he's going to the moon next Tuesday, but this is just a test. And it's purring like a kitten. And in just a few moments, I'll see if I can get a word from the professor. It didn't leave the ground, ladies and gentlemen.
Well, I didn't expect it to leave the ground.
Well, I thought you were going to just take off a...
No, I just wanted to turn the engines over. I can't understand what happened. I tried again.
Another attempt by Professor Crocker.
Hand me my oil can.
Yes, I think there's a leaky gas line there somewhere.
Well, I don't know what it is. Well, I'm fit to be tied. Absolutely fit to be tied.
Well, it looks as if you've got some work to do, Professor, before next Tuesday when you go up to the moon, and we'll be there to cover it. You can bet your boots on that. And now this is radio's highly controversial Wally Ballou, standing in a field in upstate New York, saying goodbye. Fans who wait for her on the radio, we present once again the interesting story, The Life and Loves of Linda Lovelace, Girl Intern. Written for radio by Ole Oleahy, it stars Marcia Van Alshot as Linda, Sherman L. Sturdley as David, with Hugo L. Summerstopper as Uncle Eugene, and Webley L. Webster as Ricky L. Llewellyn. Of locusts has settled on River's mouth, and the townspeople are quickly trying to evacuate by car, train, bus, plane, any way possible. And in their station wagon, the Lovelays, with Uncle Eugene and Ricky Llewellyn, are heading west out of town.
Hurry up, Dave. Boy, they're fast coming into town.
Well, as soon as this light changes, we'll be able... Here we go.
I'm glad you had the idea to go back and get the car, Dave. That walking was too much.
Oh, yes. We couldn't have made any time on foot.
Just keep going. The lights turn green.
Hey, let me spray this little spray bomb behind us, baby. That'll slow it down a little bit.
Hey, watch where you're spraying now, will you?
Well, you gotta spray a lot of it.
Better turn on the windshield wipers, Jack.
Yeah.
Whole windshield loaded with locusts.
Say, I'm hungry. Has anyone got a sandwich? Well, I've just got these peanut butter sandwiches that we hastily threw it back. What one? Yes, that'll be good.
Look at those locusts.
I've never seen anything like this in my life.
Never happened here before, that I can remember.
Just had the North 40 plowed up, too. Ready for planting. It's going to cause a lot of trouble with our crops this year. Hey, they seem to be falling back, don't they?
We're going ahead.
Oh.
We're moving a lot faster than they are.
Look at the other townspeople evacuating town. By train, bus, car, plane, any way possible.
Any means of transportation is being utilized by the people.
Well, we should be in Philadelphia by Monday.
The mosquitoes, too. What a combination. Locusts and mosquitoes.
And so our friends continue their journey out of River's Mouth. Will they return to find anything? Be sure and listen Monday when we'll hear Ricky say,
"Let's never return to River's Mouth."
That's in the next exciting episode in The Life and Loves of Linda Lovelace, Girl Intern. Word Carr speaking.
Now, round the corner and up your street comes the homely poet-philosopher, Charles.
For some girls are quickly forgotten.
Hello there. At this time of the year, I'd like to recall a poem that I wrote myself called The Vernal Equinox. As the sun journeys north and crosses the equator, and the pretty little tulip lifts his head to the sky, and I think of you, and I remember...
Charles the poet will be around your way sometime real soon. And until his next visit, won't you remember his words of advice?
Goodbye.
Next, Mary Backstage, Noble Wife. Now, for the many fans who wait for her on the radio, we present once again the interesting story, Mary Backstage, Noble Wife. The story of a young girl from a deserted mining town out west who comes to New York to try to find romance and security as the wife of handsome Harry Backstage, Broadway star, and what it means to be the wife of the idol of a million other women.
Backstage speaking, and welcoming you to my record program.
Good so far, Harry. Now, if you'd...
How about the disc jockey
introduce
portion?
the record and play one. I want to see if you know how to handle the tables.
Harry... Handle the tables. Oh. Harry Backstage speaking, and welcoming you to my record program. We have some records to play for you, and first we're going to hear from Doris Day, who is a singer.
Now, you got that on the wrong speed, Backstage.
I have?
Yes, that's much too fast, can't you tell? And
No.
you don't say Doris Day is a singer. People...
Well, what is she?
She is a singer, but you'll have to take for granted that people know that. Just
Mr. Cott, you've got to let me use my own style here.
Out. Out. But... Out, Backstage. You're not the man we want.
But I'm sure if I got on the air, I could do this.
Out.
So Harry is ushered from the studios of WFMF, and he doesn't know whether or not he has got the job. But Monday he'll find out, and so will we when we'll hear the station manager say,
I'll give you one more chance.
That's Monday in the next exciting episode of Mary Backstage, Noble Wife, Word Car speaking.
Harry Peels speaking. Peels is the best tasting beer there is.
Because?
Because it's dry. Try some.
Delicious Peels beer. Always create the urge to buy, Harry.
I think we rewind now.
Good. Now push playback.
Harry Peels speaking. Peels is the... Is that really me?
Exactly. You'll learn from this, Harry. Perhaps by practicing with this machine. What was that?
Well, that's where you...
Something in the tape there.
No, that was you.
No, that other voice. It's ludicrous. It couldn't sell beans, let alone your delicious beer.
Well, it's not that bad.
Please don't. You made Peels the delicious beer it is. I only ride on the coattails of my brother.
Well, that's unfair. You put Peels in the stores and in all those homes. You're a salesman, Bert. I'm just a brewer.
Harry, where did you get this cheap machine?
And now, Bob Elliott and Ray Goulding present the CBS Radio Network.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to another Bob and Ray show.
Hope you're all enjoying this Labor Day holiday. And hope you will enjoy the ensuing few minutes here as we take time out for a few chuckles and laughs.
First of all...
Oh, give it a drink.
Oh, now wait. That was a nice show.
Why get so corny?
It was a nice way to sign on.
A few laughs.
Well, that's what we intend to do. We don't expect any great, hilarious...
Maybe it was rather trite, probably.
Well, it was, yes.
Yeah.
But,
well,
I'll watch that from now on. I'm glad you corrected me, Webb. And look, anyone else, whenever you feel that we need correction, I don't want you to hesitate. That goes for anyone in the audience, too.
It goes for any one of our staff, too, and I hope you all know that.
Just remember, Webb...
Remember how that fellow that worked for us last year used to correct us?
That's
and
right,
help
a
us
lot.
out all the time? That fellow that worked for us up through last Thursday?
He used to help us a lot by correcting. And, Webb, why don't you take like 3 or 4 weeks off for a while? Just kind of take a vacation.
Or a little longer if you want. Well, why don't we call you when we want you to come back?
All right. All right, then. I guess I've been dismissed, right?
Well, I don't like to have
Gee,
it.
no, I wouldn't. I'd say maybe fired would be closer to it.
Yeah, that's...
Canned.
That's right.
All right. So long, so long. I'll never correct anybody again as long as I live.
Okay, good.
Hope you've learned your lesson.
Hello.
Hello.
Webbery?
Come up here, Cato.
Oh, Webbery Webster on the way.
He had one long pan, didn't he?
Oh.
Yes, he was a
they
little disappointed.
fire him?
Well, no, it's just a brief vacation for him. You see, he corrected one of the Bob and Ray team. And,
correcting Bob and Ray team like taking shoes off in the movie theater. Maybe answer to silent exit.
Now, once again, we present Wayside Doctor, a story with medical overtones set in the lush beauty of Honolulu. Starring Simpleton Ferg as Dr. David Muhu, Hawaiian Eye, ear, nose, and throat man. The story of one man's search to find himself in a profession he doesn't understand. Today, our episode takes place in the Papuli General Hospital, where Dr. Muhu and Akbar have brought Captain Wolf Larsen after his strange reaction to the doctor's new Happy Memory serum. Now, in the main admitting office at Papuli General, we hear...
Well, he's safe in bed now.
Yes.
There's nothing we can do except work on a serum.
You sure they have him securely strapped down, Doctor, so he can't escape?
Oh, yes. There's nothing to fear in that respect.
Yeah.
It's too bad that the memory serum didn't work, but...
Well, it certainly turned him into a raging monster anyway. You know it will do that.
No, I didn't know that.
I mean, you know now it will do that.
Oh, I know that now, yes, Akbar.
But it hasn't done much for his memory, apparently.
I've got
He's more vicious and mean and frightening than he ever was before.
I'm going to consult with some of my co-doctors here and see if they have an idea, something I can do for this poor critter.
Yes, maybe there's an antidote for it. Of course, you still don't know what his attitude is going to be when he comes out of this stupor he's in.
Well, I wouldn't call it a stupor, Akbar. What has happened here is, well, he's changed completely.
Oh, yes, he certainly has.
A human being to something like an animal.
Well, I wouldn't want to be in your shoes, Doctor. Certainly is taking a big step to try and find a happy memory serum.
The nurse was telling me that since noon today, he has eaten over 35 pounds of raw meat.
35 pounds of raw meat?
Yes, and an ounce of vitamin B.
Oh, that'll certainly make him more powerful in strength than ever.
Well, he has to be fed, and he has now the appetite of a huge beast.
Yes.
Surgery, calling Dr. Moo-oo.
Yes.
Surgery, calling Dr. Moo-oo. Yoo-hoo, moo-hoo.
Oh, they want you in surgery, Doctor. You never have a minute to yourself.
Oh, she's a pest. Did you hear that, yoo-hoo, moo-hoo?
Yes.
She's done that ever since I was an intern.
She sounds as if she knows you quite well, Doctor.
Well, she just knows me, and I think she has a crush on me, Akbar. Well, excuse me, I must go down to surgery.
All right. I'll stay here and keep an eye on Wolf.
Visiting hours are now over. Everyone will please leave the hospital. Oh, yoo-hoo, moo-hoo.
Oh, dry up.
And so, before he can do anything else to help Captain Wolf Larsen, Dr. David Muhu is called to surgery. Be sure and join us tomorrow when we'll hear Dr. Muhu say,
Why did you send me to surgery on a wild goose chase?
That's tomorrow in the next exciting episode of Wayside Doctor. And this is Word Carr saying aloha.
Time once again to greet our Bob and Ray television critic, this being Thursday, Mr. Crawford Paisley. And you've flown in, have you, Crawford, today? And are prepared to give us a review, I hope.
Yes. It sure is a thrill to be back here with you, and I'm just sort of bubbled over with enthusiasm ever since I joined the Bob and Ray team.
Well, it's good to know, Crawford, and it's nice to have you back. The first two reviews that you gave us weren't quite what we had expected.
That was the old me, Bob. This week I'm taking my place as a man among men.
I notice you're standing up straight, looking me square in the eye. What happened?
I read a book which has changed the entire course of my life.
Oh?
It should be required reading for every adult in the United States. It's called Achieving Self-Respect. Perhaps you've heard of it.
Yes, I believe I have. That's enough about your private life. What TV show have you picked to review this week?
I'm not reviewing a TV show this week, Bob. I'm reviewing the book.
Oh, Crawford, you're not a book reviewer. You're a television critic. So
Bob, a few short weeks ago, I would have been humiliated if you'd told me that I didn't know my business. Now I can merely tell you to stand aside and shut up.
You mean you're going to review this book even though I don't want you to?
I have kowtowed to you long enough. This is my portion of the program, and I'll do what I please with it.
Well, I'm not going to fight with you here in the air about it, but go ahead.
Now, the book, Achieving Self-Respect, is written by the great British intellectual Geoffrey Phillips Wingate. All rights are reserved. And to use the author's own words, the volume is dedicated to my loving mother.
Well, we can skip over all that part. What about the book itself?
Will you pipe down and let me do this in my own way?
Just the time factor I'm thinking of, that's all.
Mr. Phillips Wingate points out that in the first chapter, that half the people in the world have an inferiority complex to some degree. He then proceeds to outline a series of mental exercises that will enable the most humble person to achieve self-respect.
Well, I'd like to hear about those exercises.
When I want you to talk, I'll signal. Now, the first step is to repeat to yourself 500 times a day the words, I'm as good as anybody else. When you've mastered that, you start telling yourself, I'm better than anybody else. And the final step is to repeat the slogan, I'm a genius, and everybody else is an idiot.
And that's his program for achieving self-respect, is it?
Basically, that's it. Of course, there are other parts of the program which have done me a lot of good. For example, I never really realized how handsome I was until Mr. Phillips Wingate showed me how to look into a mirror so that my Grecian features would show up to best advantage.
Well, it must have been quite a big day for you when you discovered how handsome you are.
It was the turning point in my life. Of course, I had always suspected that I had a great deal of talent, but it was this book which showed me how to convince others of my genius.
Well, is there anything else in the book?
Oh, that's about the size of it.
Well, then is it all right for me to talk now?
Yes, we gifted people are more or less obligated to listen to the meaningless babble of others.
Well, I'd just like to say that if you come in here once more with anything like this, instead of a television review, you are finished with the Bob and Ray organization.
You mean no more paychecks or nothing like that?
That's exactly what I mean. Now, get back home, start watching TV, or you are through. Washed up, kaput.
Well, okay then, Bob. I'll see you next week. And you can bet I'll have a television review for you, a real good one.
All right, fine. We'll see you then. Goodbye.
Bye.
Hi, another Bob and Ray feature called TV Confidential. Things you never hear about. TV.
True stories behind the scenes in television.
In a recent episode of a popular Western program, the hero's horse had to catch up with the crooks who had a considerable head start. To accomplish this, they doped the horse to the ears.
Dennis the Menace, in real life, is 35 years old and owns a nursery for headstrong children.
The shortest open end on record was 3.5 minutes, including the opening theme and commercial. It happened when his guests took umbrage with the introduction given them and left in a snit.
The Untouchables are so named because they're tightwads. It's impossible to get a nickel out of any one of them.
The FCC plans on irrigating TV's vast wasteland, hoping to cultivate a lush green growth culture.
The sun never sets on my little Margie.
Lloyd Bridges, star of Sea Hunt, is afraid of jellyfishes.
The sick humor of Jack Benny offends our sensitive ears.
In a recent episode, a famous hero dog was required to lie still for the entire show to guard a sick chicken. To make sure he didn't move, they doped him to the ears.
There are not enough wagons on Wagon Train to even form a semicircle in case of Indian attack. They accomplish the feat with trick photography.
The Indians attacking the wagon train in a recent installment were doped to the ears to ensure they're losing the battle.
It's been seriously questioned in knowledgeable circles whether Father really knows best.
It is rumored that Jack Parr, upon retiring, hopes to open an alligator farm in Florida.
And there you have Bob and Ray's TV Confidential, behind-the-scenes true stories of television.
Just before we went on the air today, we selected 3 members of our studio audience to play a little game of, and it will have to be quite short, game of musical chairs. And I wonder if you'd all, the 3 gentlemen this time, we don't have any ladies in our audience today. First one's name is Vincent Price. Is that right, sir?
That's right.
You're undoubtedly not the one that I was thinking of.
I don't know. I am Vincent Price.
You're not the actor.
I haven't done too much acting. I spend most of my time art collecting and like that.
Well, that's something in common, of course, with the Vincent Price. Second,
well, I like to consider myself the Vincent Price.
But you're not. Now,
I am, as far as I'm concerned.
Well, as far as everybody else is, you're not.
Well, I don't think so. I think my family believe I'm the Vincent Price.
Next in line,
what you think?
Have a little fella named Bill Pearson. Is that
Bill
right?
Bill Pearson, that's right.
And what do you do, Bill, for a living?
Not too much.
Mm-hmm.
Go to school, and this summer I got a job.
Oh, that's all?
With the U.S. Steel Company, I helped build bridges.
Say, that sounds like
riveting and like that.
Man-sized job
yes,
for a little fella. All right, and our third contestant, Hank Bloomgarden of New York City. You're not the one who appeared on one of the big quiz shows a few...
No, I've never appeared on any quiz shows. This is my first appearance.
We have our 3 contestants then, Vincent, Hank, and Bill. And you know how we play musical chairs. You each start around those 4 chairs there, and we stop the music and take one away. I think you're familiar with the old parlor game.
Well, just one moment, Vincent Price.
We'll play this according to the art link letter rules.
Right. Well, now, when the music stops, we all try to get a chair.
We all try to get a chair.
Now, there's 3 of us and 2 chairs. Is that
That's right.
And one has to fall down and not get a chair.
Well, there are 3 chairs to begin with.
Well, we'll all
you don't
get a
need
seat.
3. You'll all get a seat. Let's try 2. Will you take one chair away, Wilbur Conley? See whether it works for us. All right. A little quieter, if you will. Let's start the music then and go. Vincent, Hank, and Bill are marching around the 2 chairs here. Vincent, it looks like you're out. Bill and Hank both got their
very
chairs.
Fair. That little kid there gave me a push.
Well,
that's small of the back.
Remember, these are the art link letter rules we're playing by.
You can push them.
You can push on the
Well,
rope.
I'm out, right?
You're out, right? You can go over and sit down. Let's start the music again. Bill and Hank.
I can't sit down.
You'll have a chair in just a minute. Short one this time. Only 1 chair, and it looks like little Bill got it.
That's right.
And Hank, you're out. I'm sorry. You're a wonderful contestant.
Hank
a good
is out
sport.
cold.
He is, as a matter of fact.
He is. He fell down and hit his
All right, now let's take that 1 chair away, and Bill, you start marching around.
But wait a minute. There's nothing to do.
Well, that's part of our
I've
rules.
won already.
No, you haven't won.
Why do I sit down when the music stops?
Well, you just have to sit, that's all. Okay?
I'm not walking around anything. The audience is all laughing and snickering. What do you think I am? Some kind of a fool?
There's music. Sit down now.
Sit where? There's no place to
Just sit where you are.
Okay.
There you are. You're the winner, Bill.
How do I guess?
Well, you get a season pass to next year's Bob and Ray shows, which you can use any day of the week.
Well, you know, it's funny where I sat down. You must have had some sort of a...
There was glue there on the
glue
floor.
or something. I'm stuck, and my pants are dirty, too, because I think there's some grease on the floor
and
here.
a full set of Rupert's Encyclopedia for you. Thank you very much for helping us play musical chairs.
And once again, hello, ladies. This is your True to Life announcer, Danny.
All right, Danny, now...
Danny's True to Life Kitchen. What, Aunt
Dan, I
Penny?
want you to cut it short because the last time you talked so much I couldn't finish my story.
Well, I just like a handful of these cookies, Aunt
Well,
Penny.
take them, Danny, and dry out.
Now, what's our True to Life story about today?
Today's story about Ms. and Mrs. Lawrence Hedges.
Aunt Penny, do you
mind if I raise
the shade? It's a little
Oh,
too
Danny,
sunlight
now
in here.
don't get going on that shade again. I do want to tell the story about Mr. and Mrs. Lawrence Hedges.
All right.
Well, Larry, he was called. He worked for the railroad, and he decided one day he and the missus would go east. And rather than take the railroad, they thought they'd drive off in their new automobile. This is many years ago, and they had a whippet. And they get in the whippet.
Did that make it go better, Aunt Penny?
Oh, now, Danny, we won't have time for those puns. Now, let me get along with the story. Well, Mr. and Mrs. Lawrence Hedges departed from their home in Mason City, heading east in their whippet. Right outside of town, there was the great coursing river known as the Big Stream. And as they started to cross over the stream...
Say, Mrs. Lawrence Hedges, does this bridge look safe to you?
Yes, it does, Mr. Hedges.
Doesn't to me. It's kind of waving in the breeze, kind of like, Mrs. Hedges.
Don't seem to be waving any more than any other bridge would wave in the breeze.
No, but see how the cables...
Keep your eye on the road rather than looking at the cables. If you don't mind, we do want to get east, don't we, to Metropole to visit our neighbors?
I know one thing, though, Miss Lawrence Hedges. I wish we were on the other side of this bridge instead of right in the middle of it. I'd feel a lot safer on dry land than I do here in this automobile driving over this shaky bridge.
Well, do whatever you want to do, Hedges. I don't care. I'll just sit here.
Well, we've come so far, we might as well proceed to the other side, Miss Hedges.
Well, Danny, Mr.
Great
Hedges,
Scott, Aunt
he
Penny.
managed to save himself.
Sounded like the bridge gave away. What
The last
happened?
he saw was Ms. Hedges on the top of the whippet going downstream faster than they were going when they were driving it on dry land.
Well, that certainly
He
was.
could swim. Fortunately, he saved himself. And that's about it.
Well, that was a wonderful true-to-life story, Aunt Penny, and I know that all the ladies will be anxious to hear your next one.
Yes, and if Mrs. Hedges is listening, won't you write and tell me how you were saved?
And that's about it, ladies. Time's up, Aunt Penny, and until next time, she says...
If anyone knows how that dear lady ever made out in all that trouble floating down the river and all, I wish they'd let me know.
And this is Danny saying so long, ladies, until next time.
Dry up. What a windbag, honestly.
We're going to ask you to do a little something different. We're going to ask you to purposely make mistakes.
Purposely make some sound mistakes.
That's right, some sound mistakes in a little drama that we're going to offer.
All right. Anything I do, huh?
Anything you do, but be subtle about it.
All right.
Always
Okay.
see if you can pick out these mistakes. The scene is a small shack about 5 miles from the center of the city.
Well, Eddie, is the eggs almost boiled?
Yep. They'll be boiled in about 2 more minutes.
Well, I don't know. I don't like them too hot. You better take them off the stove.
I'll leave mine in there a little longer.
What?
I say I'm going to leave my egg in the water a little bit longer.
Hand me mine.
Okay.
Here, let me crack it on the side of the table.
Right.
You're right. It's too soft.
Yeah, see about. Want to put another one in?
Please. I didn't say a white one. I want a brown egg.
Oh. There it is. Now, just leave that in there a few minutes.
Hey,
Say, do you hear an airplane in trouble?
What?
You hear an airplane in trouble overhead?
Yeah, I do. I hear it. Yeah, motors are skipping, ain't they?
They stopped completely now. Sound like he's right overhead. I think I'll go to the door and look up at the sky above. There wasn't a door. I'll try this one. Yeah, that's an airplane, all right.
Hey, when you walk, them corduroy pants really sing, you know.
Yeah.
They really sing.
Well, I guess the eggs are all done now. Here, here's yours.
Okay. That was good.
Sure was a good bank job we pulled off yesterday. How much we make in all?
Let's see. It's counted again. Hand me the dollar bills.
Yeah. Good crisp folding stuff.
2, 3, 4. Looks like almost 400 bob here.
Boy, that's okay. We can live a long time on that.
Yeah. Is that radiator rattling again?
Well, I'll go look. Yeah. Yeah, it's something the matter with it again. I'll shut the door. You won't hear it so much now.
Well, that's it, ladies and gentlemen. Now, if you've counted the mistakes, you just send your entries along here. Just send them to... Oh, who should we have them send them to?
Well, I wouldn't send them along at all because you won't hear anything from it.
No prizes?
No prizes, no, and we can't take the time to answer all of the entries, although we'd like to.
I think that's fair to have people listen and take down messages and so forth. Hardly a message, I suppose.
Shall we give the boys and girls their secret code message for today?
Okay.
It's
G.
code L50. Tell
All
them
right,
that
L50,
first.
yeah. It's G14, M, 16, 16, F. That's it.
Artie Skirmahorn, our roving correspondent, is at the Flyaway School for Airline Hostesses in Queens Village, Long Island, and perhaps he has something of interest to tell us. Artie, are you listening?
Hello, Bob. The Flyaway School of Airline Hostesses is run by a Mr. Sherwood Bloomquist, and it's really a unique operation. Right now, I see Mr. Bloomquist drilling one of the would-be hostesses in the mic technique.
Can you hear what she is saying, Artie?
Well, I just waved to Mr. Bloomquist, and he's coming over with the young lady now. Well, hi, Mr. Bloomquist.
Hi, Mr. Skirmahorn. Say, I'd like you to meet one of our students here at Flyaway, Miss Wanda Rossiter. I was just giving her a lesson in mic technique.
Well, we'd certainly like to hear how that's done, Mr. Bloomquist.
All right, now, Miss Rossiter, we'll be doing this from memory, and it's very much the kind of thing she'll have to say under real flying conditions.
We're all ears, Mr. Bloomquist.
All right, go ahead, Wanda.
Good evening and welcome aboard Flight 201. I'm Captain Tom Bakewell, and your pilot on this flight is Wanda Rossiter. Our estimated time of arrival in Los Francisco is 12:32. We'll be high above the weather throughout most of the trip at 200 feet, so settle back and enjoy your flight.
Thank you, Miss Rossiter. That was very good.
Well, do you grade the students on their various duties, sir?
Yes, Artie, we do. Miss Rossiter got a 26 in mic technique, but she's very strong on pillow reach, so that tends to bring up her grades overall.
Well, do I see one of your students talking to herself over there in the corner?
Oh, indeed, no. Just a clever device I dreamed up myself. Let's go over and take a look at it.
All right, Mr. Blomquist.
It's a recording featuring questions frequently asked of airline stewardesses while the plane is in flight. Here we are.
Well, it's Miss Rossiter again.
Yes, and in a second you'll hear some of the questions and Miss Rossiter's answers. Go ahead, Miss Rossiter.
I'll turn it on.
Say, stewardess, what was that thumping noise I heard on takeoff?
And nothing to worry about, sir. Perhaps the wheels fell off.
Stewardess, do we get a free meal on this flight?
I hope so. I'm starved myself. And if there is a free meal on this flight, I'll go eat and try to sneak some to you later, sir.
Say, stewardess, this pillow smells of something.
Well, I don't know. It's not my worry.
Yeah, I think you've heard enough now, haven't you, Artie? That's enough, Miss Rossiter. Did very well, thank you.
Mr. Bloomquist, what time does the class in hysteria control begin?
It started about 3/4 of an hour ago, Miss Rossiter. I'm afraid you just about missed the class in hysteria control.
No, I couldn't have missed it. I can't afford to miss anything so important as that.
Well, that slap in the face certainly did the job.
Did you slap her face to bring her out of the hysterics she was having, Mr. Bloomquist?
No, I slapped her because she isn't a very good student.
Well,
but she's the only one we have here
Thank you,
at
Mr.
the present
Bloomquist,
time.
for showing us what an airline hostess school is like.
Yeah.
This is Artie Skirmahorn, returning you to Bob and Ray, wherever they are.
We're back here in our cool studio, and I don't know if we have time to talk with anybody. I don't think we do in the audience, do we?
Nope. Goodbye, goodbye. It's almost time for that wonderful Wallace song.
Here once again is a continuation on the air of the story based on a 1951 Late Late Show. Matt Neffer, boy spot welding king of the world. Today it's mid-afternoon at Matt's house. He and Todd are just sipping some refreshing lemonade as we hear.
Todd?
Yes, Matt.
Don't mean to throw a cloud on this otherwise happy occasion, but...
Oh, what do you mean?
I've been seeing spots before my eyes.
Well, as boy spot welding king, I can well imagine, Matt. To change the subject, have you heard anything from Grandpa Neffer? Have you heard whether or not he's coming back to Midvale? Whether you'll be visited by your grandfather?
Todd?
Yes.
I'm up here in the attic, and it's hot as blazes.
I'll be right up, Matt. Of all the places to come on a
Watch
day
it
like
there.
today. The sun certainly beats down on that old roof.
Isn't it hot here?
No ventilation whatsoever.
That is funny that we shouldn't have some sort of a window here in the attic. Don't you think there's danger of maybe spontaneous combustion without the
Very well
proper
could be.
circulation of air? Although there's nothing here in the attic, save all this film.
That always seemed to me a rather dangerous place to store it, Matt. What with the sun beating down and all, the accumulation of heat here. Oh, Matt.
Down cellar, Todd. It's dank down here.
I'll be
Watch
right
your
down.
step now.
Oh, it is a great deal cooler here. All the difference in the world between the cellar and the attic.
Look, here from this angle, through the cellar window, you can see the roof of the neighbors. And on the chimney there, isn't that Grandpa Neffer?
It certainly looks like him to me, Matt.
And look, he's shooting off Roman candles from up there. Now we can start worrying about the film in our attic.
Worry indeed for Matt lies ahead. If Grandpa Neffer's aim is poor, that film in the attic may explode at any moment. Next time, we'll hear Matt Neffer say,
Well, we have the cellar left anyway, Todd.
In the next episode of Matt Neffer, Boy Spot Welder. We're very proud right now to have this next guest with us today, certainly one of the most prominent men to come before our Bob and Ray microphone in many months. And I'm sure that everyone familiar with the fields of scholarship and education will agree with me when I mention the name of Dr. Vincent Randolph Shaw. Hope you won't mind if I don't read off your full list of degrees here, Dr. Shaw. It's such a lengthy one, I'm afraid that we wouldn't have time for the interview.
Well, that's okay, Curly. No offense.
Well, now, as I understand it, Dr. Shaw, you and your colleagues are currently at work on a truly revolutionary idea.
Well, we ain't going to start no revolution, if that's what you mean.
No, I mean, it's an unusual idea. Here, you're planning to set up a new college that will have even higher scholastic requirements than Oxford and Cambridge.
Yeah, there's a bunch of other guys in the teaching racket who feel like I do, that any young punk that wants to go to college these days can get in.
Uh-huh.
So we're setting up this here new joint that'll be strictly for eggheads.
Well, in other words, you're seeking out the best young minds in the country.
Yeah, we're looking for all the squares, and we're really going to give them the business.
Do you plan to give these talented young people a liberal college education in the real classic sense of the word, is that it?
Well, we ain't running no Sunday school picnic, I'll tell you that.
Uh-huh.
We ain't going to have no football team. We ain't going to have no fraternities or sororities or none of them things. It's going to be a tough grind.
I suppose you'll be teaching a lot of the classical subjects that many other colleges have abandoned now.
Well, that's about the size of it, yeah. For instance, we're going to make every kid learn how to speak Lithuanian.
You mean Lithuanian?
Well, I got it wrote down here as Lithuanian.
Well, I don't believe I've ever heard of a language called Lithuanian.
Well, we're going to teach a lot of things you never heard of, Buster. For instance, we're going to have a whole building just for
anthropology.
Yeah, anthropology. It's the study of head bumps or something.
Well, Dr. Shaw, I'm certain that there are many talented high school seniors listening right now who would like to learn more about
your new college, where can they write to you for further details?
Well, the Federals won't let us use the mails. They think we're running some kind of a bunco game here, so I guess the kids would have to write to you, and then you could send a mail over to us.
All right. Well, we'll be very happy to forward it to you, Doctor. And thanks again for taking time out from what I know is a busy schedule to be with us today.
Well, that's okay, pal. And look, if anybody wants to send in any dough for this here new college, we'd be happy to get our hooks into it.
All right, fine. Well, thanks again, Dr. Shaw, and goodbye, sir.
So long.
Guess that would be it. Hope you have a nice weekend, and we'll have a word about the coming of the vernal equinox in just 10 seconds.
We'd like to remind you to keep up with the news beats on The World Tonight right after our program.
And to keep up with the musical beats on Three Guesses with Ed Joyce right after that.
All right,
was that
Vernon,
about
if
it?
you would. Vernon Equinox.
It's going to be on a Monday this year.
Thank you very much. Have a nice weekend, everyone. Until Monday, this is Ray Goulding reminding you to write if you get worried.
Bob Elliott reminding you to hang by your thumbs.